Hello everybody, my name is Solnerex and welcome to my very first video about battle discs. In this video I'm going to be teaching you about all the different styles of play you might see when playing battle discs. I've been a battle disc player for almost 3 years now and I've hosted multiple tournaments for the game within that time. What is battle discs, you ask? Well, for newbies out there, battle discs is a game where two players fight each other in a box arena. Each player is given a frisbee or a disc to throw at the opponent. Hitting your opponent gets you a point, and the person to hit max points first wins. Now, let's stop wasting time and get right into it. I'll be talking a lot about kill power and kill potential. I want to get the difference between these two sorted out before I start explaining styles. Kill power refers to how likely you are to get a kill depending on your skill. Skill in this case means your ability to aim and your ability to predict. Having good aim and good prediction means you're more likely to get a kill. Kill potential refers to how likely you are to get a kill depending on chance and probability. For example, if your disc covers more of the arena, your chances of getting a kill is higher. There are 7 different styles we'll be going over today, each with their own quirks and strategies, so let's go ahead and check out the first style. Now, we're in the arena. The first style we're going to be going over is called Gatling gun. Keep in mind the names for these styles aren't official. Many of these names are taken from a veteran player by the name of Black Lilith, who came up for most of these. Anyway, Gatling gun is a style where you throw both discs one after another completely straight at the opponent. Now, Gatling gun has 2 variations, a more offensive variation and a more defensive variation. Here's what the offensive variation looks like. Now, for an overhead view. As you can see, I throw my discs as soon as possible. No delay between each throw. Now, with offensive Gatling gun, you have a lot of kill power, but you sacrifice defense. Because you have almost no or very little shield uptime, Gatling gun itself is a style that is a lot more reliant on skill because your aim and prediction has to be very precise. Now, the defensive variation is very similar, except you sacrifice speed and kill power for defense, because you hold shield up for longer. Here's what the defensive variation looks like. Now, let's get an overhead view. Now, with this variation, instead of throwing immediately one after another, I hold my shield up in between each throw for extra defense. Now, I'm a lot harder to hit, but I'm also throwing less discs, which means I'm less likely to hit my opponent. So, Gatling gun is a powerful style because of its flexibility. You can easily switch from being aggressive and overwhelming the opponent to defensive and much harder to kill. Your kill power is high, and it gets even higher when you have good aim. The main weakness for Gatling gun is that it's hard to learn, and even harder to master. Being too aggressive leaves you open. Being too defensive means less chances of getting a kill. Having inconsistent aim also hurts you, especially when you can't hit headshots. That's Gatling gun. Throughout the rest of the video, you'll see that those offensive and defensive variations can actually be applied to each and every one of the styles we'll be going over. Now, on to our next style. The next style we'll be covering is called Kimble style, named after one of the best battle disc players of the OG era of the game. Kimble style is a style where both discs are thrown after one another, but one of the discs is aimed at the wall. So, one disc is a straight shot, and the other is a bank shot. Here's what Kimble style might look like. Now for an overhead view. Kimble style is powerful because it offers you more kill potential, but it can still be balanced with defense. The reason I say kill potential is because the bank shot gives you a higher chance of hitting the opponent. It covers more of the arena, but it's less about aim and more about chance. The main weakness for this style is that because the disc bounces more and is out of your hand for longer, it means you'll be throwing less discs throughout the match, and you'll have slightly reduced defense. Now, let's take a look at our next style. Our next style is appropriately named Killshot. Killshot is a style in which both discs are thrown roughly at the same time and at the wall for maximum bounce. Here's what Killshot might look like in a match. Now, let's get an overhead view. The idea behind Killshot is that you trade most of your defense for almost maximum kill potential. With Killshot, your aim is to cover as much of the arena as you can while also getting around your opponent's shield. The chances of getting a kill are very high, and this move can only be blocked certain ways. The main weakness for Killshot is that you leave yourself completely open in the time that it takes for your discs to come back. In that short period of time, you can only rely on dodging, which makes this style very easy to counter. If someone blocks your shot or you miss, most likely you're going to die. In my opinion, Killshot is best when it's mixed in with other styles, but not as a main. I see a lot of people nowadays who rely on Killshot and rely on the wall to win games. Now, with that said, let's move on to our next style. Trickster style. Trickster style is one that is very simple and easy to incorporate into your play. All Trickster style is that every now and then, instead of strafing or dodging, you remain completely still to mix up your opponent. Here's what Trickster style might look like. We don't really need an overhead view to get the point of this style across. Trickster style is the best and honestly one of the most fun ways to mix up your opponent. Let's say for the first round of a match you move left, and then the next round you move right. The next round your opponent expects you to move left next, but in reality all you do is stand still. It'll throw them off long enough for you to get the kill. The obvious weakness for that is that of course you're standing completely still. If your opponent expects this or you abuse it, you're an easy target. That's why it's best to mix it in very rarely. So, let's go on to our next style, shall we? Quick Draw. Quick Draw is similar to Killshot in that you throw both discs immediately and at the same time, but instead of throwing them at the wall, you throw them completely straight, or directly at your opponent. Here's what Quick Draw might look like. Now, let's get an overhead view. Quick Draw is fun because you can choose whether you want your discs to be closer together or farther apart for more of a spread shot, depending on ping or movement styles. This can be done with other styles as well, but it's most effective when used here. Quick Draw is strong because you're trading defense for maximum kill power. I say kill power because with Quick Draw, you're looking to predict and aim accurately at one of two places your opponent could be. If your aim is good and you know where your opponent will be, you're almost guaranteed a point. It's also a lot faster than something like Killshot because your discs aren't wasting time bouncing all over the place. However, even though this offers you more defensive time than Killshot, the main weakness is still defense. You leave yourself completely open when throwing, so if the opponent blocks well, or you miss, you're most likely dead. Quick draw is also difficult. It's arguably easier to learn than Gatling gun, but it's still hard to master. Now, on to our next style. One of the last styles we'll look at today is more of a movement style, much like Trickster, called jump style. Jump style is exactly as it sounds. Jump around the arena and cover as much ground as you can to avoid getting hit. Here's what jump style might look like in game. Now, let's get an overhead view. Jump style is strong because it is much harder for your opponent to predict where you will be, since much of the movement is random. Your movement is inconsistent, but it's also at times even faster than just regular strafing, giving you an easier time dodging. The reason this style can be weak, especially to something like Killshot or Quick Draw, is because you're more likely to run into a disc while running around. It's also slower than other styles because instead of your focus being on throwing, it's on dodging. That's about it for jump style. Let's move on to our last style of play. Remember when I said Killshot offers you almost max kill potential? That's because cross shot exists. Cross shot is a style of throw much like Killshot where both discs are thrown at the wall, except this time they're thrown at opposite walls. This creates an X pattern across the arena and covers a large area. Here's what cross shot might look like. Now let's get an overhead view. Cross shot is very fun because it's almost like an ultimate attack. It's hard to set up and get right, but when you do it right, it is effective. Cross shot is strong because it gives you maximum kill potential. You can cover as much of the arena as possible with cross shot, so there aren't many places for your opponent to run and hide. There are also only a few ways to consistently block it. The main weakness with crossshot is that, much like Killshot, it's easily countered by someone who knows what they're doing. The discs will take forever to get back to you, leaving you with very little defense. That gives the opponent a lot of time if they either block or dodge the shot. It also takes a lot longer for the discs to reach your opponent, so if they're fast, they can hit you before your discs even make it halfway across the arena. Hey guys, there's actually one more thing that I forgot to mention in the video about cross-shot, and it's that it can only really effectively be done from the middle of the arena. So if you expect someone to do cross-shot, most likely they're going to do it from the middle of the arena. And that's all the styles. We've covered pretty much most, if not all of the ways you'll see people throwing discs around in game. Now, you can recognize and find the best ways to counter each and every one. Every style has a counter. How well you can adapt and find which ones work best for you will determine how well you do in the arena. My advice to you: try them all out. Mix and match styles. Don't stick to just any one, and your opponent will have a much harder time figuring you out. That's about it for today's lesson. I hope you guys were able to learn at least a little bit more than what you already knew about the game, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like. That's all I've got for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.